welcome to today's session, the third one. Yeah, so the scene is this one that's going to paint. We're going to make a quick watercolor sketch today. This is actually a stone building, a Mediterranean style building in the town called Corchula along the Adriatic coast. And we're going to focus on this area because all the darker values are here, and we're going to do it in a watercolor pad, Fabriano, 300 GSM or 140 pounds weight and 14 by 19 inches in size. So we begin with the sketch. The objective is, as stated before, is not to capture all the details, but basically the bare minimum. Working on the light now, which is going to be a very important part for composition, and the building line on the other side, which will appear inclined because we are taking a worm's eye perspective, which is from the base. These things matter more when making quick sketches. We don't need to focus and find out what is actually there, just follow the lines. And I think here Mr. John Yardley, the famous British watercolorist, said it very nicely that if I see a blob, I'll paint a blob and not worry too much about what is there. So there is no point in being too interpretive or creative about the shapes that we see. Just follow the lines and go ahead. Putting some shadow shapes and some windows, not much details. The roof line and the color of the sky, I think, is going to give it that Mediterranean character. So just putting a few more lines in perspective so that we know exactly as what colors and what form and shadows and shapes would come. Very briefly, this is typically how we need to work when we are traveling, and quickly we can conclude what we are seeing just to give an impression of the place that we are there, and that's the finished sketch. With a number 8 mop brush, I will quickly block the areas in one single wash, meaning one color merges into the other. In the first wash, we always try to capture as much of the local color as possible, and in the subsequent washes, we try to achieve the correct value structure. Trying to achieve some texture while the wash is still wet. We now start with the shadow form, treating this like any other shape in the painting in terms of contour and value. Colors should be mixed on the surface as much as possible, because mixing in the palette can give quite a different effect. But having said that, one must experiment enough to know exactly how two colors would react on a certain surface. Usually, as a rule of thumb, two complements can be used without much worry, like yellow and violet, blue and orange, red and green, etc. And one should see how expertly Mr. Thomas Schaller does it. And now I start adding some even more darker value. While doing so, it would be worthwhile to remember to use the same pigments as before, or a neutral tint at the most, as otherwise it would be mud. and working on this very important element of our composition, the lights there, because it has some darker value and would contrast well with the surroundings. Finally, working on the area which has the brightest colors and probably will have to be the most detailed, as that is the area where the viewer's eyes would stop. And it's about time to end this now, with some dark colors here, some splatter there, some finishing touches here and there. Yeah. So this is the final sketch that we prepared today. Today's objective was to explore the immediacy and the spontaneity of this beautiful medium, and to see how quickly we can capture the essence of a place. I think we have met that objective, and this is what I would like to highlight here, that making sketches while we travel, even if we stop by the roadside to have a cup of coffee or something, because this one took less than 45 minutes and that is roughly the time that would take it. And I think we can afford that time, and given the right place, we can and we should be making sketches. I always make sketches when I travel, and some of them become paintings when I come back. And nevertheless, these paintings are important, but the sketches also have their own place in my memory, in my art career. And I would encourage everybody to make sketches while traveling, because it really gives a very complete experience and exploration of the place. It really teaches us how to see things around us, so it's a wonderful thing to do. And with this sketch we complete today's session. Thank you.